The invitation arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. It was unlike anything humanity had ever received before. A message transmitted across the stars, written in a language that no human could decipher at first glance. For years, Earth had been sending out signals into the vast emptiness of space, hoping someone somewhere would hear them. And now, finally, someone had answered. The message came from the Galactic Concord, a coalition of advanced civilizations, scattered across multiple star systems. They called it an invitation to a peace summit, a chance for humanity to join the galactic community. At first, many dismissed it as a hoax. How could aliens suddenly appear after centuries of silence? But when scientists confirmed the origin of the signal, a distant planet known as Xylophia 7, the world's leaders knew they couldn't ignore it. A team was quickly assembled to represent Earth at this historic event. Leading the mission was Captain Laura Hayes, a woman with sharp instincts and years of experience navigating the unknown. She wasn't chosen because she was fearless. She was chosen because she knew how to stay calm under pressure. Joining her were three others: Dr. Benjamin Cole, an astrophysicist who spent most of his life studying alien languages; Lieutenant Ryan Miller, a skilled pilot whose quick reflexes had saved countless lives during emergencies; and Clara Bennett, a diplomat with a talent for smoothing over even the toughest conflicts. Together, they boarded the Odyssey, a sleek spacecraft designed to carry them safely to their destination. It wasn't the fastest or most advanced ship in the universe. It couldn't compete with the technology of the Concorde, but it was sturdy and reliable. As the Odyssey left Earth's atmosphere, the crew felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. None of them had ever met an alien before, let alone attended a meeting of intergalactic proportions. What would these beings look like? Would they be friendly? Or would they see humans as primitive intruders not worth their time? These questions lingered in everyone's minds as they traveled deeper into space. When they reached Xylophia 7, the sight was breathtaking. The planet was surrounded by a swarm of ships, each one glowing with colors so vivid they seemed almost unreal. Some vessels were enormous, dwarfing the Odyssey by comparison, while others were small and delicate, drifting gracefully through the void. Laura ordered the crew to approach slowly, making sure their movements didn't seem threatening. "We're here to make friends," she reminded them over the comm system. "Not enemies." As they neared the surface, they noticed something unusual about the assembly. There were no landing pads or designated areas for ships to dock. Instead, the Concorde appeared to use some kind of gravitational field to guide visitors toward the ground. Ryan adjusted the controls carefully, ensuring the Odyssey descended smoothly. When they finally touched down, the airlock hissed open, revealing a scene straight out of a dream, or perhaps a nightmare. Hundreds of aliens stood waiting for them, arranged in neat rows around the landing zone. Their forms varied wildly. Some looked like towering insectoids with shimmering exoskeletons, while others resembled translucent blobs of light hovering just above the ground. One group consisted of creatures that floated effortlessly, their bodies composed of what appeared to be living crystal. The diversity was overwhelming, and for a moment, the humans froze, unsure of what to do next. Laura stepped forward first, raising her hand slightly above her head in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she forced herself to remain steady. Behind her, the rest of the team followed suit, forming a line beside her. Dr. Cole clutched his translator device tightly, ready to communicate the moment the opportunity arose. Clara kept a polite smile on her face, though her knuckles were white from gripping the edge of her uniform. Ryan stayed close to the ship, keeping an eye on their surroundings in case anything went wrong. Then, disaster struck, not because of malice, but because of clumsiness. As Ryan shifted his weight, he accidentally triggered the emergency thrusters on his suit. The sudden burst of propulsion startled several nearby delegates, causing smaller species to scatter in panic. One of the insectoid aliens clicked its mandibles loudly, a sound that echoed ominously in the stillness. Laura winced, realizing immediately that this was not the impression they wanted to make. Dr. Cole tried to salvage the situation by activating his translator. "We mean no harm," he said, his voice trembling slightly. But the device struggled to process the unfamiliar dialects, spitting out a string of garbled noises instead. To the aliens, it sounded aggressive, like a series of barks or growls. Clara stepped forward, attempting to bridge the gap with body language. She held up a small holographic display showing images of Earth, rolling green hills, bustling cities, smiling faces. Unfortunately, one of the clips featured a violent storm, complete with lightning strikes and roaring winds. Several delegates recoiled, interpreting the footage as a veiled threat. By the time the initial introductions concluded, the humans realized they had already made a poor first impression. Whispers rippled through the crowd, spreading rumors about the unpredictable newcomers. Some wondered if humanity's arrival signaled the beginning of trouble, while others simply viewed them as amusing curiosities. Either way, the crew knew they had their work cut out for them. If they wanted to earn the trust of the conquered, they would need to tread carefully and avoid any more accidental blunders. Despite the rocky start, Laura refused to give up. She glanced back at her team, silently urging them to stay focused. This was only the beginning, and there would be plenty of chances to prove themselves. After all, humanity hadn't survived this long by giving up at the first sign of difficulty. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The humans spent their first full day on Zalofia 7 trying to recover from the disastrous landing. The alien representatives, though curious about Earth's newcomers, kept their distance. Some whispered among themselves, casting wary glances at the humans whenever they moved. Others simply ignored them altogether, focusing instead on their own conversations or tasks. It was clear that humanity's clumsy entrance had left a mark, one that would take more than polite apologies to erase. Captain Laura Hayes decided that action was needed. Sitting back and waiting for things to improve wasn't an option. She called her team together in the Odyssey's cramped meeting room to discuss their next steps. "We've got one shot to fix this," she said firmly, her voice steady despite the weight of the situation. "We need to show them we're not a threat. That means being careful, respectful, and above all, predictable." Dr. Benjamin Cole nodded, adjusting his glasses as he spoke. "I think we should start by learning more about them. If we understand their customs and behaviors, we can avoid making the same mistakes again." Clara agreed, adding that diplomacy worked best when both sides felt understood. Ryan stayed quiet, still embarrassed about the thruster incident, but he gave a small nod to show he was listening. Their plan began with observation. The team split up, each member tasked with gathering information about the conquered's various species. Laura and Clara approached groups of delegates, offering smiles and gestures of goodwill. Dr. Cole wandered near the edges of the assembly area, jotting notes about the aliens' appearances and interactions. Ryan stayed close to the Odyssey, keeping watch while tinkering with the ship's systems to ensure it remained operational. At first, progress was slow. Many of the aliens avoided direct contact, either out of fear or disdain. But Laura's persistence paid off when she managed to strike up a conversation with a floating jellyfish-like creature named Varel. Using a combination of hand signals and broken phrases translated through Ben's device, they exchanged basic pleasantries. Varel explained that its species communicated primarily through light patterns, which flickered across its translucent body in mesmerizing waves. Though the interaction was brief, it gave Laura hope that communication might be possible after all. Meanwhile, Dr. Cole discovered something fascinating. The plants surrounding the conference center weren't ordinary vegetation. They pulsed faintly with bioluminescent energy, reacting to movement and sound. Intrigued, he knelt down to examine one closer, marveling at the intricate patterns glowing beneath its surface. Without thinking, he plucked a single leaf to study later. Almost instantly, a group of smaller insectoid creatures swarmed around him, clicking their mandibles furiously. "What did I do?" Ben stammered, standing up quickly. One of the larger insectoids stepped forward, its elongated limbs twitching with agitation. Through the translator, it conveyed a message. The plant was sacred, and removing even a tiny piece was considered deeply offensive. Realizing his mistake, Ben apologized profusely, bowing low to show respect. The insectoids eventually calmed down, but the incident spread quickly through the assembly, reinforcing the perception of humans as reckless and ignorant. Ryan's troubles continued as well. During a routine inspection of the Odyssey's exterior, he tripped over a low-gravity barrier designed to keep certain airborne species grounded. His fall triggered alarms that blared loudly across the compound, causing panic among nearby delegates. Security forces rushed to the scene, weapons drawn, only to find Ryan sprawled awkwardly on the ground, muttering, "I'm okay," under his breath. Though no harm was done, the disruption fueled suspicions that the humans were incapable of following even the simplest rules. Clara tried to counteract these negative perceptions by organizing a cultural exchange program. She arranged for the humans to host a presentation showcasing Earth's history, art, and achievements. The event was held in a large amphitheater, with rows of aliens gathering to watch. Clara introduced the display with a warm speech about humanity's resilience and creativity. Then came the footage, a montage of Earth's greatest moments from ancient civilizations to modern innovations. But the presentation took a turn for the worse when the video included scenes of war. Explosions lit up the screen as soldiers charged into battle, accompanied by dramatic music. To Clara's horror, the audience reacted with gasps and murmurs of alarm. Some delegates rose from their seats, shaking their heads in disapproval. When the clip ended, Zorvath, a towering reptilian figure with glowing red eyes, stood up and addressed the crowd. Its deep, rumbling voice echoed through the amphitheater as it accused humanity of glorifying violence. Laura intervened immediately, stepping onto the stage to defend her species. "Those images are part of our past," she explained, her tone firm but respectful. "They represent struggles we've overcome, lessons we've learned. We're here because we want to build a better future, not repeat the mistakes of our history." Her words seemed to resonate with a few members of the audience, particularly Lyrian, a soft-spoken aquatic ambassador who watched the exchange with thoughtful eyes. Still, the damage had been done, and whispers of distrust continued to circulate. By the end of the day, the humans regrouped once more aboard the Odyssey. Exhaustion hung heavy in the air as they debriefed. "Every time we try to make things better, we end up making them worse," Clara admitted, rubbing her temples. "It's like we can't catch a break." "We're not giving up," Laura replied sharply, though there was no anger in her voice, only determination. "This isn't just about us anymore. It's about proving that humanity deserves a place here, among the stars." Ben nodded, holding up the leaf he'd accidentally taken earlier. "Maybe we need to focus less on explaining ourselves and more on understanding them. If we can show that we're willing to learn, maybe they'll give us another chance." Ryan sighed, leaning back against the wall. "Easier said than done. Every move we make seems to blow up in our faces." Despite the setbacks, Laura refused to lose hope. She glanced out the window at the swirling mass of alien ships orbiting Xylophia 7. Somewhere out there, hidden among the stars, was the key to earning the Conquered's trust. All they had to do was find it and prove that humanity wasn't the threat everyone thought they were. The next morning, the humans woke to find the atmosphere around the assembly hall tense and uneasy. News of their missteps had spread quickly among the delegates, and many now viewed them with suspicion. Some whispered openly about humanity's intentions, questioning whether Earth's arrival was truly peaceful. Others avoided the humans altogether, creating an invisible barrier that made every interaction feel strained. Captain Laura Hayes knew they couldn't afford another mistake. She gathered her team in the Odyssey's meeting room to discuss their strategy for the day. "We need to focus on rebuilding trust," she said firmly. "That means being careful, respectful, and above all, predictable. No sudden moves, no unplanned actions. Everything we do has to show that we're here to cooperate." Dr. Benjamin Cole nodded, adjusting his glasses as he spoke. "I think we should start by learning more about their customs. If we understand what matters to them, we can avoid offending them again." Clara agreed, suggesting that they observe the Concord's rituals closely and mimic their behavior when appropriate. Ryan stayed quiet, still feeling the weight of his earlier blunders, but he gave a small nod to show he understood. Their first task was to attend a formal discussion session hosted by the Concord's Leadership Council. The event took place in a large dome-shaped structure at the heart of the assembly area. Inside, the air shimmered with faint energy fields, casting soft glows over the rows of seated delegates. The humans entered cautiously, taking seats near the back where they could observe without drawing too much attention. As the session began, various species presented updates on their respective worlds, economic developments, scientific breakthroughs, and diplomatic achievements. The humans listened intently, trying to pick up cues about the Concord's values and priorities. Laura noticed that most speakers emphasized themes of unity, cooperation, and mutual benefit. It was clear that the Concord valued harmony above all else, which only made their own chaotic arrival seem worse in comparison. When it came time for questions, Clara decided to take a risk. She stood slowly, raising her hand to signal her intention to speak. Several pairs of alien eyes turned toward her, some curious, others wary. Using the translator device clipped to her belt, she addressed the council. "Thank you for allowing us to join this gathering," she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "We are aware that our arrival caused confusion and concern. We regret any offense we may have caused and wish to learn how we can better align ourselves with your ways." Her words were met with silence. For a moment, it seemed like no one would respond. Then Lyrian, the aquatic ambassador who had shown interest during the previous day's presentation, floated forward. Its body rippled with soothing blue hues as it spoke. "Your willingness to acknowledge your errors is commendable," it said through the translator. "But understanding requires action, not just words. Show us that you are capable of adapting." Laura nodded gratefully, recognizing the opportunity. "We will do everything in our power to earn your trust," she promised. The session ended shortly after, leaving the humans with a renewed sense of purpose but also a daunting challenge ahead. Later that afternoon, Dr. Cole ventured into the bioluminescent gardens surrounding the conference center. Determined to make amends for his earlier mistake with the sacred plant, he approached a group of insectoid creatures tending to the glowing flora. Holding out the leaf he had taken, he bowed deeply and offered it back. Through the translator, he explained his error and apologized sincerely. To his relief, the insectoids accepted the gesture, though their clicking mandibles suggested lingering skepticism. Meanwhile, Clara worked tirelessly to repair relationships through diplomacy. She sought out smaller groups of delegates, engaging them in quiet conversations about their cultures and traditions. Her efforts paid off when she befriended a pair of avian-like beings who appreciated her genuine curiosity. They shared stories of their homeworld, a planet covered in vast floating islands, and invited her to visit someday. Though their trust was tentative, it was a step in the right direction. Ryan, however, struggled to find his footing. His clumsiness continued to haunt him, earning him frustrated looks from both his teammates and the aliens. During a routine check of the Odyssey's systems, he accidentally spilled a container of lubricant onto the ground, creating a shiny puddle that reflected light in disorienting ways. Several nearby delegates slipped and fell, prompting another round of alarmed reactions. Ryan apologized profusely, but the damage was done. Despite these setbacks, Laura remained determined to turn things around. That evening, she organized a small gift exchange as a gesture of goodwill. Each member of the human team prepared tokens, representing Earth's diversity, a quilt embroidered with symbols of unity, a vial of ocean water sealed in glass, and a recording of birdsong from a rainforest. They distributed these gifts carefully, explaining their meanings and hoping to convey sincerity. Most recipients accepted the offerings politely, though some remained guarded. One council member, Zorvath, examined the quilt suspiciously before declaring it looked like a map of invasion routes. Laura bit back her frustration, reminding herself that patience was key. "It's meant to symbolize connection," she explained calmly. "Each pattern represents a bond between people." Though progress was slow, The humans began to notice subtle shifts in the Concord's attitude. A few delegates started approaching them with questions about Earth, expressing cautious curiosity. Others nodded approvingly when they saw the humans participating in shared meals or ceremonial dances. It wasn't perfect, but it was enough to keep hope alive. As night fell over Xylophia 7, the humans returned to the Odyssey for another debriefing. Exhaustion lined their faces, but there was a flicker of determination in their eyes. "We're getting somewhere," Laura said quietly. "It's not much, but it's something. Tomorrow, we keep going." Ben sighed, rubbing his temples. "Every step feels like walking on eggshells. One wrong move and we're back to square one." Clara smiled faintly. "Then we'll just have to make sure every step is the right one." Ryan leaned back against the wall, staring out the window at the stars. "I never thought being an astronaut would involve so much apologizing." They laughed softly, the sound breaking some of the tension in the room. Outside, the alien ships continued to orbit the planet, their lights twinkling like distant fireflies. Somewhere among those ships, the humans hoped, was a chance to prove themselves. Not just as visitors, but as equals. All they had to do was keep moving forward, one careful step at a time. The fourth day on Xylophia 7 began quietly, almost deceptively so. The humans woke early, determined to continue their efforts to rebuild trust with the Galactic Concord. Captain Laura Hayes led her team through a brief morning meeting aboard the Odyssey, outlining their plan for the day. "We've made progress," she said, her voice calm but firm. "But we need to stay focused. Every action matters now." Dr. Benjamin Cole nodded, his expression serious. "I'll keep studying their customs and behaviors. If we can show them we're learning, maybe they'll see us differently." Clara added that she would try to deepen her connections with the few delegates who had shown interest in humanity. Ryan stayed silent, still haunted by his earlier mistakes, but he gave a small nod to signal his readiness. As the team prepared to leave the ship, an unexpected announcement came over the Assembly's communication system. A special demonstration was scheduled for midday, a showcase of advanced technologies from various member species. It was meant to inspire collaboration and highlight the benefits of unity. Laura saw this as an opportunity to observe and learn, hoping to gain insights into the Concord's values and priorities. The demonstration took place in a massive open-air arena surrounded by towering structures that shimmered like liquid metal. Delegates filled the stands, their forms glowing faintly under the artificial light. The humans found seats near the back, careful not to draw attention. As the event began, representatives from different species stepped forward to present their innovations. There were energy shields capable of protecting entire cities, machines that could heal wounds instantly, and even devices that allowed instantaneous translation between any languages. Laura watched intently, noting how each invention emphasized cooperation and mutual benefit. It became clear that the Concord valued technology not just for its power, but for its ability to improve life across the galaxy. When the final presentation ended, the crowd erupted into applause, their cheers echoing through the arena. For a moment, the humans felt a flicker of awe, and also a pang of inadequacy. Compared to these wonders, Earth's contribution seemed insignificant. After the demonstration, the team split up to continue their individual tasks. Clara approached Lyrian, the aquatic ambassador, and thanked it again for its earlier words of encouragement. She asked if there was anything specific the humans could do to demonstrate their commitment to peace. Lyrian floated thoughtfully for a moment before responding. "Show humility," it said softly. "Admit your weaknesses openly. Strength is respected, but honesty earns trust." Clara relayed this advice to Laura, who decided to act on it immediately. That evening, during a smaller gathering of delegates, Laura stood up and addressed the group. "We know we have much to learn," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. "Our arrival has caused confusion and concern, and for that, we are truly sorry. We ask for your patience as we grow and adapt. Humanity is young, but we are eager to contribute to your community, if you will let us." Her speech earned mixed Reactions. Some delegates nodded approvingly while others remained skeptical. Zorvath, the reptilian council member, narrowed its glowing red eyes. "Words are easy," it rumbled. "Actions prove sincerity." Before Laura could respond, chaos erupted. A deafening explosion shook the assembly hall, sending shockwaves through the crowd. Panic spread instantly as smoke billowed from a nearby eye structure. Delegates fled in every direction, their cries filling the air. Laura's team sprang into action, instinctively working together to help those around them. Dr. Cole grabbed his medical kit and rushed toward the injured, using his knowledge of alien biology to assess their conditions. He worked quickly, improvising treatments with whatever tools he had available. Clara coordinated with security forces, directing evacuations and ensuring civilians reached safe zones. Ryan piloted a damaged shuttle to rescue stranded leaders trapped on a collapsing platform, his hands steady despite the chaos. And Laura moved among the frightened delegates, offering reassurance and assistance wherever she could. As the dust settled, rumors began to spread. Many believed the humans were responsible for the attack, citing their earlier clumsiness as evidence of malicious intent. Zorvath voiced this accusation publicly, pointing a clawed finger at Laura. "This is no coincidence," it declared. "They have disrupted our summit since their arrival. Why should we trust them?" The accusation sent shockwaves through the assembly, threatening to undo all the progress the humans had made. Laura knew they couldn't afford to sit back and wait for the truth to come out. They had to act. Gathering her team, she devised a plan to investigate the source of the explosion. Using data collected from the wreckage, Dr. Cole identified traces of a rare energy signature linked to weapons used by rogue factions within the Conquered. It was a risky discovery, but it offered a chance to clear their names. Clara volunteered to present the findings during an emergency session called by the Council. Standing before the gathered delegates, she held up the evidence explaining how the energy signature pointed to a faction known for opposing intergalactic cooperation. "We didn't cause this attack," she said firmly, "but we are here to help stop it and to work with you to prevent future incidents." Her words sparked debate among the council members. Some remained suspicious, unwilling to believe the humans' innocence. Others, however, began to question whether they had misjudged Earth's newcomers. Lyrian spoke up in support of the humans, reminding the assembly of their efforts to assist during the crisis. "Their actions today showed courage and selflessness," it said. "Perhaps they are not the threat we feared." By the end of the session, the council agreed to launch a formal investigation into the rogue faction. Though tensions lingered, the immediate danger had passed. The humans returned to the Odyssey exhausted but relieved. They had survived another trial, but they knew the road ahead would be long. As the ship's lights dimmed for the night, Laura sat alone in the cockpit staring out at the stars. "We scared them," she murmured to herself. "But maybe that's not entirely a bad thing. Fear can lead to caution, and caution can lead to understanding." Behind her, the rest of the team rested, their bodies weary but their spirits unbroken. Outside, the alien ships continued to orbit Xylophia 7, their lights twinkling faintly against the darkness. Somewhere among those stars, the humans hoped, was a future where they could stand alongside the Conquered, not as outsiders, but as equals. All they had to do was keep proving themselves one step at a time. The final day of the Peace Summit arrived, and the humans woke with a mix of hope and apprehension. The rogue faction responsible for the attack had been exposed thanks to Dr. Benjamin Cole's analysis of the energy signature. While this revelation cleared humanity of blame, it didn't erase the lingering doubts about their presence. Many delegates still viewed Earth's newcomers as unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Captain Laura Hayes knew they couldn't leave Xylophia 7 without making one last effort to change that perception. The team gathered in the Odyssey's meeting room for a final strategy session. "Today is our chance to leave a lasting impression," Laura said, her voice firm but calm. "We've shown them we're willing to learn and adapt. Now we need to show them what we can offer." Dr. Cole nodded, flipping through his notes. "On alien customs and technologies. I think we should highlight humanity's creativity and resilience, he suggested. Even if our technology isn't as advanced, our ability to innovate under pressure might resonate with them. Clara agreed, adding that emphasizing Earth's diversity could help demonstrate humanity's potential as allies. Ryan stayed, quiet, though he gave a small nod, signaling his readiness to contribute however he could. Their first task was to attend the closing ceremony, where representatives from each species would share reflections on the summit. The event took place in the same amphitheater where Clara had presented Earth's history days earlier. This time, the atmosphere felt heavier, charged with unresolved tensions. As the humans entered, they noticed several delegates whispering among themselves, casting wary glances in their direction. When it came time for humanity's turn to speak, Laura stepped forward, her posture straight and confident. She began by acknowledging the challenges of their arrival. Our journey here has not been easy for us or for you, she admitted. We made mistakes and we caused confusion, but every step of the way we have tried to learn and grow. We are not perfect, but we are willing to work together to build something better. She paused, letting her words sink in before continuing. Earth is a world of contrasts, beautiful and flawed, peaceful and chaotic. We have faced countless struggles, yet we always find ways to move forward. That is who we are. And if you give us a chance, we believe we can contribute to your community, not as followers, but as partners. Her speech earned mixed reactions. Some delegates nodded approvingly, while others remained silent, their expressions unreadable. Zorvath, the reptilian council member, leaned back in its seat, its glowing red eyes fixed on Laura. Though it said nothing, its gaze carried a weight that made her uneasy. After the ceremony, Clara approached Lyrian, the aquatic ambassador who had supported them throughout the summit. "Thank you for believing in us," she said softly. "Your trust means more than I can say." Lyrian rippled gently, its body glowing with calming hues. "Trust is earned slowly," it replied. "You have taken the first steps. Continue down this path, and perhaps one day, you will stand alongside us as equals." Encouraged by these words, the humans decided to host a farewell gesture, a small exhibition showcasing Earth's unique qualities. They set up displays featuring images of Earth's landscapes, recordings of music from different cultures, and samples of traditional crafts. At the center of the exhibit stood a model of the solar system, built by Dr. Cole to demonstrate humanity's understanding of the cosmos. Though modest compared to the Concorde's advanced technologies, the displays attracted curious visitors eager to learn more about Earth. As the exhibition drew to a close, Laura noticed a shift in the mood. Several delegates lingered longer than expected, asking questions about Earth's ecosystems, artistic traditions, and scientific achievements. Even Zorvath approached the team, though its tone remained cautious. "Your efforts today were adequate," it rumbled. "Time will tell if your actions match your words." Though far from a ringing endorsement, the comment marked a significant improvement. Laura accepted it with grace, knowing that trust was a fragile thing that required patience to nurture. By the time the Odyssey prepared for departure, the humans felt a sense of cautious optimism. They hadn't erased all doubts about humanity's intentions, but they had planted seeds of understanding. As the ship ascended into orbit, Laura gazed out at the swirling mass of alien vessels surrounding Xylophia 7. Each one represented a civilization vastly different from Earth's, yet united by a shared desire for peace and cooperation. "We scared them," Ryan murmured, breaking the silence in the cockpit. "Do you think they'll ever stop seeing us as a threat?" Laura turned to face him, her expression thoughtful. "Maybe not right away, but fear can lead to curiosity, and curiosity can lead to connection. What matters is that we kept trying, even when it felt impossible." Clara smiled faintly, leaning back in her seat. "And maybe next time, we won't trip over gravity barriers or pluck sacred plants." Ryan chuckled softly, shaking his head. "One can only hope." Dr. Cole adjusted, his glasses peering out the window at the stars. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "There's so much more to learn, so many possibilities ahead." As the Odyssey drifted farther from Xylophia 7, the crew reflected on their journey. They had arrived as strangers, clumsy and unprepared yet determined to prove themselves. Along the way, they had stumbled, apologized, and persevered. They had learned that earning trust wasn't about grand gestures. It was about consistency, humility, and a willingness to listen. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, the Galactic Concorde watched Earth's ship disappear, their thoughts divided between caution and curiosity. Humanity's first steps onto the galactic stage had been rocky, but they had sparked something unexpected, a flicker of hope. Perhaps with time and effort, Earth's newcomers could become more than outsiders. Perhaps they could become allies, and as the Odyssey sailed toward home, its crew carried that hope with them, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.